Hey there Sega fans, Dan the Mega Driver here of the Sega Guys with a quick update on a long-awaited fan translation. Back in October, we shared details of an in-progress translation build for the legendary Princess Crown on the Sega Saturn. This version was still in its early stages, as it was version 0.3, but it allowed players to experience Princess Crown in English for the first time. This version was mired in controversy, however, as its author, eadmaster, used a forked version of the code from Sam-I-Am and Cyber Warrior X without permission, though apparently still within the legal scope of GitHub. I'm not going to speak on the situation any more than that. Our brothers at SegaSaturnSHIRO covered the whole ordeal extensively. However, in the end, we wound up with not 2 but 3 separate translation projects for Princess Crown. Sam-I-Am and Cyber Warrior X's, eadmaster's, and apparently a new translation by eadmaster's short-lived translation partner. To be honest, while Sam and Cyber Warrior's project has been demonstrated as being in a very highly polished, near final state, I was very dubious about the progress of the other 2 translations, including, of course, eadmaster's. So imagine my surprise when a commenter on our original Princess Crown video alerted us to a new version that eadmaster has shared today at the time of recording and hopefully sharing. This version, labelled version 0.8, looks, quite honestly, phenomenal. Gone are the letter spacing issues seen in the October build and the awful looking corruption that we would see when text overran the speech bubbles. Character names are coloured and the font is so much more visually pleasing. Everything is now just so much more readable and accessible, and it feels a lot more like a full release rather than the obviously flawed hack that we saw originally. Dialogue is not quite perfect, however, as the text length will often require new speech bubbles, and sometimes that would mean that you get a single word in those additional text boxes. That's not a terrible thing, to be honest, and it's easily ignored, but it just looks a little unpolished. Realistically, you would expect these tiny niggles, as this is not the final build of the translation, and I'm pretty sure that I have actually seen retail games guilty of this very same thing. What was really amazing to see though is that all of the menus have now been translated. This is the first time I have played a version of this game with the item wheel in English, and honestly, I had butterflies in my stomach using it. Seriously, as someone who has struggled through their retail Japanese copy of Princess Crown over the years, seeing this detail was an absolute godsend. Items and their use are detailed correctly. Once again, it all looks professional and accurate and makes a significant difference in gameplay. The same is true when visiting the item shops and the inn. Combat 2 benefits from this translation update, where in the previous 0.3 release we would see corruption in battle sequences when messages would appear. Now we see those same text boxes clearly and in English. It really makes a significant difference being able to battle enemies exactly as Atlus or Vanillaware intended. This release only came out today at the time of publishing, so I wasn't able to progress all the way through the game. That had been an issue previously, as the prior version of this translation, based on Cyber Warrior X's old build, would lock up at certain points. However, part of this huge update is addressing those soft lock moments, meaning players should now be able to progress through this translation from beginning to end. This is absolutely fantastic news for anyone who has been keen to play this Atlus Sega Saturn classic in English. Full details of the patch are available on eadmaster's GitHub, and I will leave a link in the description below, allowing you to visit the page and download the patch and apply it yourself. Per eadmaster's last update notes, the current status is as follows. All story events, items and names have been translated using a fixed width monospace font with condensed spaces. Most doorway signs are translated. All book scenarios are fully tested and crash free, including the 2 cutscenes that have reduced dialogue to bypass the softlocks, with links to the incidents around those specific softlock moments. I tested this patch on both Fenrir and Saru, and it worked on both. Saru was particularly impressive as it improved the load times and it really helped the entire experience along. As such, I'd expect it to fully work on all other ODEs too. But that's it for now. A very pleasant surprise to see today, and while last time the drama around this game left a bit of a sour taste in some of our mouths, at the end of the day, hey, we love the Sega Saturn and we want to play its best games and share them with our fellow Sega fans, because sharing the love of the greatest video games company there ever was is always what the Sega guys have been about. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the Sega side.